What's up, guys? Let me adjust my camera here. Am I coming through loud and clear? I haven't turned this thing on in quite some time. So, hey, welcome to, I can't believe it's 213 episodes of this show already. Mr. All Caps and Melanie are both working, so I don't know. All Caps said he might drop by, but I'm not too sure. What's up, Deadly Raven? So tonight, I'm not going to do one of my 30-hour shows. In fact, to be quite honest, I haven't done one of my 30-hour shows in quite some time. I don't like the color red. Alexa, change the living room to blue.
Okay.
Does blue look better? Wait, look better, blue or red? Alexa, turn the desk lamp off.
Okay.
I left a message to Triforce, so I'm going to reach out to him a little bit again, too. Yes, you two, Psycho Riot Rarity. Can anybody just make names like Joe, Bill, John, Brett? It's a lot easier. Anyway, so let's turn the lights on. Alexa, turn the lights white. Living room. Much better.
Okay.
All right. There we go. White is better. I don't like all these funky colors. Anti-Semitic. Baruch Goldstein. Okay, there you go. Anyway, all right. So this past week, Reddit did some data mining. I don't know. Somebody kind of had a hard-on for infiltration. And dug up stuff on his personal life. And, of course, the social justice folks of the universe went batshit crazy, saying he needs to be banned from the leagues and banned from the FGC and banned from this and banned from that. I take a different take on it. I believe what happens in his personal life is his personal business. There is no set of guidelines that the FGC has, which dictates people's personal behaviors outside of venues. If that was the case, there would be a lot less people in the FGC overall. That's not to say I condone what he did, because I obviously don't. But that is also a personal business. Now, losing his sponsorship, I absolutely think he should. Maybe being banned from the Capcom Pro Tour is a penalty. I agree with that too. But banning a guy from the FGC? No, you can't ban a guy from the FGC. There's so much hypocritical stuff that goes on in this scene. Like I said, there'd be nobody left. And this social justice movement to start banning players who don't behave the way you feel they should behave is only hurting the scene and alienating it even more. He was never a threat to nobody in the scene itself. They can't, unfortunately, if you can't ban people that don't shower, you can't ban people for the more complicated things such as assault on his wife. And again, I'm not condoning it. I feel bad for the wife. I feel bad for him. The FGC is full of these fake friendships of people who claim, to be ride or die with people, and I got your back. And then the minute one thing goes wrong in somebody's life, if it looks like you being friends with them will hurt your chances at some fake sponsorship, you'll start to notice people just slowly separate from that person. Whether it was true or not is not the point that I'm really looking at. I'm looking at right now the fakeness of people who claim to be somebody's friend. We got to be real with the situation. Those who have met Infiltration over the years, not one person that I've ever met has said an ill word about this guy. And being that that's the case, I would assume, being that a lot of these people calling for bans now that are saying things like, oh, I was cool with him, I was a big fan, I was friends, he was always so nice, but fuck that bitch, he's got to go. Those are the people that I talk about being fake friends. The social justice warriors of the FGC, those are the fake friends. I understand completely fine, for the idiots and the retards in the back of Twitter that continually have to tell me things like, "Oh, so you're fine with him hitting his wife?" No, I've never said that. I wouldn't say that. What I'm saying is, rather than you all turn around and take this negative and think by banning him it's turning it into a positive, which is completely false. Maybe what people should be doing is actually, instead of reaching out to him, calling him a bitch on Twitter now, ask him what happened. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying, well, ask him what happened and forgive everything and move on. But you need to understand, Infiltration, shot up in his fame in the FGC, was expected to perform like a good circus monkey would, for his team and himself, and that does put a lot of pressure on you. From what I was told, that ever since he lost Evo, he was smacking his wife around, blaming her. In a way, if that is the case, the FGC as a whole holds some responsibility for this mentality of brainwashing people into this fake careers that people are having. This guy basically destroyed his marriage over video games, like myself and Triforce had done. The only difference is me and Triforce can kind of take the abuse that jerk-offs like to throw our way. I don't know about Infiltration, and I think the constant badgering and belittling of the guy has the potential to push him over the edge. Not that, I don't think he is a weak person, but you never know. And to see somebody do something stupid because they've been, quote unquote, cast out of the cool club of the FGC, and I've seen people kill themselves over something sillier. I've seen people react in a lot worse ways rather than better ways when you take what little they have away from them. Maybe people in the FGC, the James Chens and the Ultra Davids and all the armchair psychologists, maybe should take the time to try and understand why he did what he did, try to help him understand. That's what a friend would do. So all you people out there that have claimed, you know what, maybe it was his wife, maybe it was the pressure, from the way I remember it, I don't know, it seems like he was engaged, married, and divorced in a month. So it's like, I don't know if he felt pressured into getting married. I don't know. Personally, I have never held a conversation with Infiltration. But the FGC, and yeah, exactly, FGC backstabbed them. I see all these social justice warriors coming out and, defending the girl, which I agree with. The girl, the girl is the innocent victim out of all of this. And I understand South Korea is different than the American culture, Molten. But, it's not an excuse. What I find funny is, especially in the FGC, I see more people scream, rant, and rave. They don't believe in God, fuck Christianity. And in a community that's supposed to be embracive to gays, You say something bad about Muslims and they go into a rant about, you're Islamic phobic and this and that. I'm going, well, wait a second. So you're cool with extreme Muslims throwing gays off of buildings, but you're not cool with Christianity. Okay, they're pedophiles. But, you know, it's the community is filled with fake versions of justice. So it's sad to see a guy who, for the past couple of years, has given his all to a community to grow himself as a player, to make money, but to bring attention to the scene, to promote the scene, to try and grow the scene, and to have people turn around and just toss him under the fucking bus like it was nothing. Wife pic? Let me see what the wifey looks like. I've seen a picture, but let's see what picture you got. Yeah, I mean, again, something triggered this guy to snap like this. I personally think it's the pressure of the FGC combined with trying to start a family. Um, that's uh, that's the part of it that I think people should more or less embrace, is trying to get to understand why he did what he did. Don't worry about him being a threat to the FGC. Like I said, ban him from Capcom Pro Tour. He'll lose his Panda Global sponsorship. That's enough right there. And you know what? Morton, you're right. Again, it's nobody knows what was going through his mind. You know, every quote unquote wife beater doesn't wake up on a Tuesday morning and say, "Hey, I'm going to go out and beat somebody." Um, there's obviously trigger points, and that's not to say that, again, those trigger points are his fault as well. They're not hers. She did nothing. She was the innocent party out of all this. But I'm not even going to click on what you put up there, Baruch. But maybe people should be embracing the guy and trying to figure out what's wrong with him rather than just cast him out. That's all I'm saying. I mean, it would suck to read in the paper that, Infiltration wound up killing himself over something like this. Because culturally speaking, also, the whole embarrassment of this being exposed. Somebody's 5-minute fodder, 5-minute notoriety for exposing this isn't worth it all the time. Sometimes you got to account, what are you exposing? This is the guy's personal life. And the money is inconsistent. You never know what you're getting. This myth that the FGC continues to push forward, that, well, certain players are making X, Y, and Z. They're making dick. I'm telling you now. Sonic Fox is probably the guy that's making the most. No, no, they're not coming on tonight. They're both working tonight. The film shoot and Caps is actually conking out. He just got off of work late. But either way, the fact that players are not making bank. Here's a guy trying to start a family and, getting shoveled the lines of shit that the FGC continually pushes as this law, as you say, um, because it comes from certain people, it don't make it true. You know, there are not a lot of people making a lot of money. I promise you that. Um, if I had to say 10 people in the FGC are making between 30 and 40,000, 30 and 50,000 a year, it would be literally between 10 and 20 people max. Max. You know, I'm talking, 20,000 to $50,000. That ain't shit. And I know you're not excusing it, and nobody, what I noticed already is the fracture in the community of, some people saying I can't believe it, and then when they see it, they say oh, and maybe, and wait until everything happens. Listen, at the end of the day, we could spin it however we want. He smacked his wife up. She left him. That's why they divorced. Um, but I don't think you should throw him away. Throwing him away, casting him out. What's next? Where does it end? I know a tournament organizer, for example. I won't mention names, who was screwing around with 15-year-olds when he was older. He was also doing shit with them, at an older age. I know other TOs that have sat and belittled women, where they couldn't be president and all this other bullshit. And those same people out there, the very same people that are asking to cast him out, are friends with these guys, and yet what they do is okay. And that's what's the irony to the FGC. That they still can dictate and have any part of the community. The very same people that will pretend that they're for some justice will come out and say some of the most grimiest shit in the FGC. And that's the part of it that sucks. Is certain people get passes, certain people don't. Now, because this became high profile in public, it had to get addressed. But had people known about it, they wouldn't have said shit about it. They would have just said, shush, if nobody knows, you're good. For example, if somebody found something like that out about myself, I would be cast out quicker than anybody else out there. Well, maybe not as quick as Triforce. But you know damn well that the standards don't go across the board for everyone. And again, Malton, you know what? I'm not taking, domestic violence casually. And I've said it, on Twitter. I'll say it again. I've mentioned the situation with my wife, getting pregnant. I'd be lying if I sat here and didn't say the first instinct in my mind was to put her through a wall. Fortunately for myself, the switch inside that says jail's not worth it kind of kicked in before it got to that point. But I still ain't going to deny there was a ton of anger. But again, going back to the FGC, being the social misfits that they are, I don't think, and this is just, again, this is my analysis of Infiltration, I don't think he had the sufficient gears running in his head and his heart that would allow him to have a healthy relationship or marriage, for lack of a better word, with his wife. I think his maturity level is not there. His choices when it comes to family over video games was not there. I just think the problem is that, it is a big problem that people don't talk about it, Morton. But not talking about it is the same thing as turning a blind eye to it. And again, like I said, I'm in no way condoning what Infiltration had done. I'm just saying that in order to move on as a community, rather than cast him out, embrace him and figure out why. So maybe the next person in this community that's a social misfit, when they find themselves a $10 hooker and decides to marry him or something, they're a little bit better equipped in their relationship for stuff that they've actually learned throughout the FGC. The FGC is not just about fucking video games. It's not just about friendships. You are basically taking time off from your life to have a second life, a gamer life, which is very time consuming. It definitely you know what, Orochi, I thought about that too. He's like a 6'4" dude, so I mean, I think he could kind of handle his own. And if people were to do that, and again, I notice, especially in American politics now, everybody wants to bother a politician, blow whistles in their face, and make them leave where they are. If that mentality happens in the FGC, it'll only continue to destroy a scene that's, already destroying itself. But again, rather than cast the guy out, try to understand what's going through the guy's mind. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see or read on a Kotaku article that Infiltration killed himself out of embarrassment because the community that supposedly liked him pushed him over the edge. That would suck. But if any of you guys want to chime in on this, you can hit me up on Skype. You got my fucking James MK on there. I really do want to get everybody else's opinions. I would even open it up to the social justice warriors out there, who are avid proponents for kicking him out of the scene versus giving him a chance of redemption and understanding him better. But again, it's a tough situation. It's definitely not something that is easily remedied by just throwing somebody out. The worst thing in my life, and this is me personally, it's definitely not the same with all of you. The worst thing you can do to somebody, and it's been done to me, is dismiss me and ignore me. And I'm not talking about like in the FGC. I got people telling me all the time, you're irrelevant, you're an old man, you're a piece of shit. I'm whatever. But you know what? The fact that you're calling me all that means I hit a nerve with you. And again, it's sad because with all the hypocrites that are in the FGC, it's definitely Lapchi, I would go for, if we're going this route with esports, then I would have to say mandatory background checks. A lot of players in actual sports have to submit to background checks. That doesn't change the fact that you're allowed to participate, i.e. Hernandez for New England, who had a lengthy rap record. rap sheet, should I say. But again, by doing stuff like that, what you wind up doing is adding more money. Who eats the cost to do background checks on players to make sure they're good? Inevitably, it's going to have to be the tournament, the tournament, the players themselves, or it's going to have to be sponsors that are going to have to eat that cost. But in order to do that, there needs to be actual organization in the FGC. There needs to be, and I've said it repeatedly, a governing body, just like baseball has the MLB, NFL, NBA. There's a set of guidelines in stone that can't be deviated from. And I understand that, lap sheet. That's again what I'm getting to. It ain't cheap. 12,000 people show up to Evo. That's $120,000 in background checks. But now at the end of the day, between that, the new measures for security, metal detectors, actual guards at events, this is all adding up. Now, on the flip side, TOs have been eating that cost now. Eventually, they're going to have to pass it back to you as a player. They're at this point right now, because of the shit that happened down in Jacksonville, we kind of knee-jerk reaction into, well, everybody's got to protect the players now, which is completely understandable, but it comes at a cost. And what's going to happen is, let's use somebody like Big E or Jeb Bailey down in Florida doing 3-4 events a year. That's going to add up fast. 2,000 people here at this event, 1,000 at this event. The more you increase, there's regulations as far as for conventions, how many guards have to be for what your turnout is suggested to be. It might be 10 guards if 3,000, but if, 2,000 people show up, maybe it's 7 guards. There needs to be a set of guidelines that are going to and it needs to be agreed upon all tournament organizers, not just the ones in America or the ones up in Canada. It needs to be worldwide. You go to the Tokyo Game Show, these set of guidelines need to be applied. Just like, let's just say with baseball, for example, there's rules to baseball. It's, if you're playing in Japan, it's 3 strikes, you're out. You're playing in America, it's 3 strikes, you're out. You're playing in Canada, it's 3 strikes, you're out. And with that, it also has to get done with the games themselves. We can't have, well, this game is 3 out of 5 in 3 rounds, and this game here is 2 out of 3 with only 2 rounds, and this is best of 3, and this is best of 5. There needs to be solid conformity. Exactly. 15K in security for 800 people. That's crazy. That's crazy right there. And I obviously want everybody to be safe and have a great experience, but people need to step back and look at it and say, like, whoa, all this security, it's like car insurance. Car insurance is like pulling a tooth until you actually get into an accident and need it. And then you're like, oh shit, thank God I had it. With security, you don't want to take that chance now. With the mental state of people out there in this world right now, the one thing you don't want to do is take a chance with somebody that you think might be a type of person that might bring jeopardy to it ain't just about smash either. It could be anybody. It could be myself. It could be one of you guys. It could be a girl. It doesn't matter. There is no true signs. Yeah, there are some signs. That player, that did the shit in Jacksonville, went after the two guys that were giving him the hardest time in the gaming community. Because I mean, I had watched the interviews. The two guys that knocked him out of the tournament, he didn't even bother going near them. So, when I keep hearing people say it's all because he lost. Nah, the two guys that beat him didn't even get shot at. I mean, hey, listen, I wouldn't mind having my balls felt up at home too, but my point is that with all the changes that are coming into the FGC right now, kicking Infiltration out of this scene is basically, to me, one of it would be one of the most, I wouldn't say despicable, but I look at it as an all-time low for the FGC, and again, not condoning what he did. 100% what he did was fucked up and it was wrong. But for a community that claimed to have his back and be his friend, to cast him out in a time that we actually need him. Now, thank God he didn't kill her. Thank God, they're going to the court. He's going to get whatever the court gives him. So it's not like he's getting away with shit for nothing. Maybe it's time for some of the people in the community that were closer to him, rather than jump on the social justice bandwagons of saying, oh no, this guy here, fuck him, kick him out. Maybe they should say, hey, you know what? I actually talked to him a lot. We went out drinking a lot. Hey, what the fuck happened? A very simple thing. I know for a fact there's got to be people in the FGC that are not in Korea that can just reach out to him and be like, hey, hit him up with a private DM. What's going on, dude? What the fuck happened? You don't have to be his friend. Again, you don't have to be his friend. I'm talking about the people that claimed to be his friend. The ones that were out there within 5 minutes of this Reddit article saying kick him out. You were never his friend. You were somebody that was trying to stand on his coattails and see where he could drag you around to. Because a friend would try and figure out what the fuck. Why did you do this? Why would you do this? And that's the part that he was found guilty apparently on one charge. I don't know about the second charge. I don't even know what the charges are. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's assault. I don't know if it's because from what I was reading, it was at her house, so he might get, trespassing, assault. I was also told that the rules there are a little shaky. You know what? BR, I don't know if he can. That's the thing right now with the court case, from what I understand, still going on. I don't know if he can say anything. And I'm saying that twofold. One, because I'm sure he knows he's guilty of something. And I'm sure if he comes out and says something, the ex-wife or the lawyer of the ex-wife will come out and, grab whatever it is and try to use it against him as an admission of guilt. Now, again, now we're talking courtroom semantics. The fact that he's, in my eyes, he is guilty, but in the eyes of the court, guilty does not mean you're guilty. Guilty in real life does not mean you're guilty in the court's eyes. Between plea bargains and deals, and I don't know the rules there. I know there was a whole thing about defamation during a criminal case, and I don't know Korea's laws when it comes to court. So I mean, right now the best thing he could say is say nothing. I know, people want an explanation. What's the difference between this and Andre? Both done scumbag shit. You know what? Listen, I know people that I know a lot more scumbag shit that's happened in this scene that isn't exposed, that I haven't exposed. Kind of like, uh, no. I ain't saying it's okay. Again, I ain't, and what Andre did is he'd actually stolen from people in the community. You know, and the sexual assault stuff on the girl. She was part of the community. I ain't giving a pass on either. In fact, but the difference is with Andre. Andre, unfortunately, didn't learn either. You know, he had gotten arrested, then he got bailed out, then he got rearrested, then he left the state and got rearrested. Then he hit the girl, then another girl came out and said he saw. It was a compounding of a bunch of stuff that he did that at the end of the day got the TOs to say you're out. You know, but as far as infiltration, this girl had nothing to do with the FGC. This was his wife. Now, again, I'm not making an excuse for him. I think he should be removed from his team. I think he should be removed from the Capcom Pro Tour. I believe he should be, quote-unquote, suspended, if you will. But banning infiltration? No. I don't think you should. You know, if that's the case, then you need, at what point do you decide what is what not a bannable offense? And when that event had transpired. I know players that 15 years ago punched a girl. They ain't done nothing ever since then, but 15 years ago they punched a girl. If you find out, should they be banned? I'm just saying, if somebody punched a girl in the not in the FGC, if somebody punched a girl that they were dating in high school and everybody in the FGC found out about it, should they be banned? Yeah, the girl's actually pretty cute from what I'm seeing. But now, again, the fact that I could have a social justice warrior TO publicly comes out and what's the word I'm looking for? And comes out and basically says women will never be president. They're erratic. They're mental. Yada yada yada. Is that bannable? And that's my thing. Is that bannable? Cute or ugly shouldn't matter, assuming that was sarcasm. Yeah, it's sarcasm. A TO out there, screwing a 15-year-old when he was over 18 a couple of years back. Is that bannable? This is stuff that transpired. They obviously knew each other's age and all that other weird, fucking Baruch Goldstein. At what point does the FGC turn around and say, okay, we're taking it too far? Torture should be bannable. But again, it's he said, she said on a transcript from somebody else. Let's call him. Okay, I call him. If that's her, it is right. It's pretty funny. And again, I'm not defending what he did. But again, to sit here and think the FGC as a whole doesn't hold a percentage of the responsibility, because again, you put these guys on fucking pedestals, and I tell you every fucking time, they're no different than you. You put that unnecessary pressure on these players, and they do it to themselves too. Again, it's not just, I'm not blaming the FGC. But I am saying there is a part of that cross to bear on the FGC overall. Exactly. He won't be able to come back if he gets convicted. Does the book start with K? No. It does not. It does not start with K. But, again, my point about the whole situation is these people that come out there and jump up and down to play God, judge, jury, executioner to everybody else in the FGC, when they condone their own friends to do just as fucked up shit, that's what's making this community a laughingstock. Everybody keeps talking, and I keep hearing people talking about numbers growing. The numbers are the same. Stop lying to yourselves. The same 15,000 people that have been coming to tournaments since 2011 are the same 15,000 people coming to events. Now, you might lose 2 and gain 2 different ones, but the number's stagnant around 15,000 people overall. Fucking fat guy from Legacy. I'm not familiar with Suicide Silence, to be honest. What was Suicide Silence's thing? That's what I'm saying. I don't know who Suicide Silence is. And what is that? Intend to trigger highest. You know what? I think now I know. I think the guy was caught for touching kids or some shit like that, if I remember correctly now. And again, this is what the FGC, people like to turn around and say Reddit isn't part of the FGC and online gamers aren't part of the FGC. Yes, they are. And that's what I keep telling people, that the minute you turn around and you get some notoriety, people will be gunning for you. The jealous streak is real. And they will go out of their way to dig up dirt to find out, 10 years earlier, you fucking jerked off in a glass and fucking served it to somebody at a restaurant and got arrested for it. They will dig up some shit that they can on you. But again, the world is not fair. And that's one of my biggest gripes. People got to understand, the world isn't fair. You could claim to have some social justice fucking, some social justice radar going through the world and fixing all the world's problems. You're fucking wasting your time. I mean, I'm sorry. The time that you're focusing, these same people, and I see it every day in New York City. these same people that cry for these social justices will come and cut through Penn Station, step over every homeless guy, not try to help him, not even look him in the eye. When the guy say, hey man, you got a cigarette? All of a sudden you walking away like you got some headsets on and you can't hear. You know, and that's the truth. You know, social justice is convenient for people when they want it to be convenient. You know, if I had $1 for every time I tweeted some stupid shit that I just threw out on Twitter, to have some social justice guy try and debate me on what I said. I'm not on the debate team. I don't give a shit what your opinion is. I knew you would, Baruch. You know, but this fake outrage, it's outrage when it's convenient. When the cameras are rolling, when the Kotaku articles are rolling out, yeah, man, FGC, man, we don't like this anti-violence. I mean, Kotaku just put out an article about 2 guys kissing at CEO Kotaku. I don't give a shit. Listen, you want to tongue each other's assholes, do it. I don't give a shit. You know, they put out the article because they thought it was risque. They knew it would get some people going, hey, yeah, I'm offended by that. So other people can go, hey, well, you should be offended because you're an asshole. And it turns into a shit fest. Listen, in case you didn't know, Sonic Fox is gay. I don't give a fuck. I sit with Sonic Fox. I talk with Sonic Fox. You know, the fact that the FGC finds itself now pushing sexuality through it, and I saw some people, I read the article on Kotaku, I read people, oh, it's about time. Well, you know, I don't care that you're getting a good luck kiss from your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or your fucking plant, or you're roping one out quick. Whatever helps your day go by. But in my opinion, and again, my opinion, if that guy had a coach and his boyfriend ran up on the stage and kissed him, you either get a warning or you lose a match. From what I was told, it was one coach on stage at the same time. You know, this, and it's not to do with the sexuality portion of it, it's the professionalism. The FGC lacks professionalism. I believe there should be a standard dress code that everybody has to adhere to. I believe everybody needs to have a jersey, whether you're a player that is sponsored or not. You need to have a mandatory jersey, I believe, that identifies your name on the back of your shirt, just like a pro baseball player. You know, Deadly Rave, you know, and that's my point. You know, I know a lot of people in the scene that are gay that haven't come out yet. I know a lot of people that are straight that act gay, you know, and yes, there is an acting gay, feministic. I don't get into the whole they, he, their, her, all the fucking pronoun shit. I'm sorry, I just don't buy into that crap. I'll call you by your name. If you tell me you don't have a name, then I'll call you Yo. You know, but the professionalism, you know, and again, I said this a long time ago, that in order for the FGC to be taken serious, the FGC has to take itself serious. You know, so, I mean, if you're going to lay down rules, okay, do it now. Stop this knee-jerk reaction. Every time somebody violates something you find offensive, and then ask for the punishment to be handed out. Make a goddamn rule book for the FGC that dictates how you behave, proper hygiene, the rules of the games, conduct in and outside of gaming tournaments. That includes the guys that like to hang out and smoke weed. I want people drug tested. People should be drug tested. You get drug tested in other sports, you're going to get drug tested here. I don't care if you pull out, I told this to Rick Wah. I said, I don't care if you pull a fucking card out that says you're legally allowed to smoke weed. You can't go to your job drunk. And alcohol is legal for anybody to drink. There are rules. You can't go to work, get stoned, and say, well, I have a card that says I could smoke weed. Yeah, you do. Well, we have a policy, no smoking weed. And that's you're right, Mariano, but people have to police yourselves. In order to police yourselves, you need to make those rules. If you do not make those rules, now I don't know if Tom and Tony Cannon are the ones that make the rules. I don't know. You get Tom, Tony, Alex, maybe Lapchi, Biggie, Rick. They sit down and they establish with Jabali a set of rules and guidelines where all the TOs can agree on it. But something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. And I see, Lapchi, who's in the chat. I know he's got the esports crypto stuff going on. I can't see it working because the FGC is in such disarray right now. And before you worry about making everybody money, let's get it to the point where people can actually fucking, sustain themselves and get to events and act professional. I understand, and I read a lot about the crypto stuff. I don't know if it's going to work. I'll be honest. That's just my opinion. I'd like to see it work. I'd like to see there be a foundation that people can actually use and grow, and grow while in the community doing something. I've said this a million times about a union, and people just fucking shake me off like I'm a fucking moron, so I'm the moron. But what I'll say is, with my union that I'm in, I nest egged a couple of $100,000, so when I retire, I got money. And I'm not done working yet, so is it a foolproof plan? No, but it's something. You guys are spending the better part of your 20s and 30s chasing a dream. And when you turn 36 and you're not winning nothing no more and shit ain't working, what's up, wake up, Hoyu? If you turn 36 and you look back and you go, oh shit, I got to go to work now. The 15, 20 years that you spend in the FGC dedicating your time, whether you're going to school and just playing games or just sitting on your ass playing games. When you look back at 36 and go, wow, I wasted 15 years and I got no pension. I'm almost 40 years old. Retirement is 65. How are you going to make enough money to retire on a job when you're only going to be working for another 25 years? You're going to have to put, if you get a job that even offers a 401 or a pension or something, how are you going to do it? You want to work until you're 180 years old? I don't want to work anymore. To be honest, I could get out of work. Won't make the money I will. I'll get penalized on all my shit. But I could stop working tomorrow if I wanted to and spend the rest of my days gaming. But I want more money. I'm greedy. So, again, there is no establishment. There is no FGC body that makes rulings on situations like infiltration. What this will be is like it was with Andre. Big E comes out, says, yeah, he's banned from my events. Alex says he's banned from my events. Alex in California says he's banned from my events. Rick says he's banned from my events. You know, and that's basically how it goes, is random TOs just, and eventually what winds up happening is word spreads because TOA heard TOB say it, so he's going to tell it to TOC and TOD, and then eventually it goes around the horn. But that's not how a organization functions. You know, an organization does not function like that. What you need to do is, again, form a league, form a union. You know, if a union was formed, then the esports crypto has a way to better monitor players that are in the esports FGC. There'll be a database that's available to them that will help them figure out how the crypto, what's the word I'm looking for? The cryptocurrency can be spread amongst the community. You know, but that database needs to happen. You know, now, in order for that to happen, players need to be proactive in trying to put something together. Again, I'm not telling you me, because I don't want that responsibility. I'm an old fuck and I got other shit to do. But you need somebody as a union delegate / union leader. Now, I don't know who that would be. That would be somebody that the community would have to vote on. You know, I mean, I would say somebody like Alex Vi, but you can't do Alex Vi because Alex Vi is a TO. And a TO is basically management. They can't be in the union. They would be, I don't want to say victim of the union, but they're basically the people that would be gate kept from taking advantage of the community when it comes to events, with security up in, you know, with more security coming and, you know, no guidelines. They would be the ones that can't turn around and just say, hey, you know what, I think you should do this. My event's going to do this. No, you need that guidelines. You need that union. You need somebody to rep you guys. Triforce. Trust me, Triforce don't want to do it. You know, I don't know. Again, I never sat here. You know, I got my lovely haters on Twitter saying I think I know everything. I don't know everything. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know everything. I know how unions function. I know how to delegate, but something like this, you know, you need to get lawyers involved. Shit, you guys could probably join the Teamsters. You know, you guys could get the Teamsters and join the Teamster Union. There's plenty of unions out there that would take all you as gamers. And listen, albino. There's a incentive to backstab. I said there's an incentive to backstab no matter where you are, not just the FGC. Now, Gucci, here's something that I think would work beneficially. For example, if you're a Teamster with a legitimate union, a gamers union. Now, again, you know, Teamsters is the best example because unions don't give a fuck about who you are. They just want your money and your number. The bigger the union gets, the stronger it gets. Teamsters have truck drivers, Teamsters have electricians in it, Teamsters have housekeepers in it, because when the Teamsters say we're shutting down, a lot of shit stops working. And that's what makes them strong. Now let's just say, for an example, FGC event comes around. TO turns around and says, normally I charge $100 entry fee, but now I got to jack it up to $500. The union turns around and says, no union players will be showing up to your event, which would be all the big names. That's going to hurt that tournament organizer's brand in a big way. And that's what an incentive is for players to form a union. You can't have them. And yes, there are union dues. And again, this is where things get hard, because you're right. Players aren't really too keen on paying their money matches, let alone union dues. And union dues are not optional. Union dues are something that you have to maintain in good standing to remain in the union. You could do the union and hey, I'm sorry, man, I'm broke. You get away with it once, 2, 3 times, that's fine. After the 4th time, you're kicked out of the union. You want to come back to the union and say, no, I got the money now. It's too late. You got to start over from scratch. That's why a union due is a monthly price that you pay to the union, that basically that money gets allotted in different areas. For example, if I charge you $40, let's just say $40 a month in union dues. After 3 months, out of the $40, I pull out, out of the $120 after 3 months, I pull out 40 of it and put it towards an insurance policy. It's a monthly fee, correct, but it's weekly sometimes. It depends on how the union is structured. But that money gets allotted for things to, keep the union, the physical union itself up and running. It also covers things like medical for members. It covers, insurance for, what's the word I'm looking for? Workers' comp. Workers' comp, or it covers furlough if for some reason you've been going to events for like the last 6 months and something came up, your wife was pregnant and you want to be with her, you want to take that time. Furlough will be a amount of money that's set to the side while you're not working that will allow you to at least bring a little something in. Now again, keep in mind, this isn't a lot of money we're talking about, because you can't turn around and charge gamers, $300 a month, because they're not going to have it. But now on top of that, if somebody like Lapchi with the esports crypto, that plus cash or lines of credit or something where you can work out something between crypto and hard cash and credit could actually work and benefit players in the long run. Because I look at the cryptocurrency and I see hold times of 3, 5, 6, 7 years. And, most people I know in the FGC can't hold $3 in their pocket by passing a Wawa. So you kind of got to look at it and go, crypto can actually help people by getting added into a savings. Yes, Superman comes from crypto. But cryptocurrency is odd. I'm not fully up to speed on it. I don't know if Lapchi's still in here. I'd actually like him to explain it a little bit better. One of my things is that I'm trying to figure out about it is how, if I hold it for X amount of time. How can I diversify it into either a line of credit or cash? And that's how I'm looking at it right now, Albino. It's kind of magic money. And until I can figure out where I can use it, when I can use it, how I can use it, that at that point, then I can deal with it more. But currently, in the state that it's in, I wouldn't, and it's no offense to Lap Chi, I wouldn't be safe or feel safe dipping my money into crypto to using the FGC. But, again, let's see how that evolves. I know they're working on stuff, and we shall see. But, like I said, at this point right now, the FGC really needs to come to terms with itself. And it's not me saying stop pushing the gayness. Stop forcing it. Like, everybody knows who's gay, who's straight, or we think we do. It's none of anybody else's business. The one thing about the FGC, and I love when people say how accepting we are, but then we're not. We're accepting when it comes to sexuality. A lot of other things we're not accepting. I run around, I cry on the internet joking around about age shaming. Being that I'm the oldest motherfucker in the FGC, why do I gotta have motherfuckers keep calling me an old man? I'm hurt. In the inside, I tear up. Just because I'm 50 years old and y'all little scrubby asses are only 20s and 30s, that's not my fault. But I'm offended when people call me old man. So companies are pushing it. Originally, the TOs and the top players had all the power. Damn straight I'm old. I'm proud to be old. Like I said, before me, there was no FGC. I started in 1984, traveling around playing Karate Champ. That was the FGC. And the fact that the oldest of the people that are in the FGC I'm not going to die ever. I'm never going to die. I'm going to live forever. Oh, fucking Baruch, you were not the king of Karate Champ. Just stop. You know you weren't. I was the god. I had all the bitches. I collected all the geishas. Punched the bulls, beat all the bulls, broke all the pots, broke all the wood, broke all the stone. I was a god. Come over right now, dude. We'll do it on stream. I have it on the PlayStation 4. I'll body you one. Oh, it doesn't have it online. That's right. I remember I money matched you in 85 and 150. Fucking, yeah, alright. No, nobody did. Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. But nah, seriously, something has to change. There needs to be a set of rules. There needs to be a set of guidelines from this day forward that somebody or some group of people in the FGC can collaborate together to establish a set of rules on conduct, on hygiene, on behavior, and those rules need to be enforced. Yo, what's up there, Mr. Chris G? You know, Chris G gonna have to cut his hair to stay in the FGC. We're gonna have a hair length limit for all players. You know, but without a set of rules for people to go by that are established, written, quote unquote, by Lord, um, you can't turn around and just ban people on the fly. You know, and that's the thing. You know, hygiene is a definite. You know, and again, strict rules on the coaching, strict rules on the matchups, strict rules on your behavior in and out of events. You know, at the venues while tournaments are going on, and when you're outside, not during a tournament, at home and you're quiet. And when you're reading through these rules, they need to be approved through the union. When the majority of the players can find it acceptable. Again, I know a lot of people that do their little vape pens and their weed pens or whatever it is and their oils. I'm sorry, dude. You want to be a professional or you want to be a fucking back in the arcade? You know, there needs to be standards. And then when a situation like infiltration arises, A, knowing that there are sets of rules, maybe, you know what? And again, maybe if infiltration knew there was a guideline that specifically said, like, hey, any domestic abuse on a woman, you're permanently banned from it, maybe he would have thought twice. You know, you don't know. Maybe he would have thought twice and said, oh shit, if I choke my fucking wife, I'm going to wind up fucking getting knocked out of fucking the FGC league. What's that? Coaching and your crew talking shit to other players. Well, now, again, I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm not saying you can't do that. You know, again, that's stuff that would have to get ironed out within the rules. You know, shit talk is a part of the game. You know, I know the FGC is tossed up between playing like a tennis match and playing like a fucking WWE match. And that's something that would need to be established. The problem is people talk crap to you. Yeah, well, you know what? In baseball, if you're playing out in right field, and you're the visiting team, all those assholes that get those shitty seats in the right field fucking nosebleed seats are talking shit to you all game. You got to learn to phase them out. At least you get headsets, and especially you, Chris G, with your 35 of them. At least you could block them out. A baseball player got to hold that L and eat that shit and hope that they get out in three quick outs. You have the ability to wear headsets. I don't know what you got anymore. You know, but if you know shit talking is that bad, then as a whole, those who would join the union and see the rules before the rules are ratified, that would be an issue to bring up. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, all right, what do we got here? Oh, fucking. I forgot about that Chris G one. Well, you know, again, the spacing needs to be made bigger, and There needs to be, I know everybody wants front and center seats, but when you're playing in pools, you kind of got to hold that L, only because of the limited spacing that TOs have when they're doing their layouts. But once you make your top 8, there should be a barrier separating you from the players. You should never have a situation like you did at Evo with that dude running up on stage after. And that's happened a couple of times at Evo. That's not just you, that's been with other people too. Even fans, even fans of the people. Like the dude from England that won, all of a sudden 500 Brits got up on stage with him. You can't have that. And again, I think Mr. Wizard does that to you on purpose. Because you called him a faggot. But again, this is stuff that has to be talked about. Yeah, bigger venues, more money. You can't. You can't get bigger venues. These people that are getting convention centers lately, hey, listen, I ain't going to tell another man how to spend his money. I also don't believe in that mentality that the TOs live by. You got to lose to make. You got to make to make. And as much as people want to go and be big-time convention centers and all that, we can't fill it. We can't fill it. And it's sad because the prices of everything is going up. Now, TO's got to pay for security. TO's got to pay for these bigger venues. Players are still grimy where they put 16 guys in one room to save money. Listen, if you can't afford to get a room at a hotel at the event that you're playing in, then odds are your priorities suck and you shouldn't be there in the first place. And that's a fact. And yeah, less people are coming. People don't want to listen. The FGC thinks they're this kumbaya, and again, to anybody out there who might be LGBT, LSD, QRSTUV, or all the other acronyms and letters, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just telling you a fact. Stop scaring people away. Not with your sexuality, but shoving it down people's faces. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. Nobody at the event cares what your sexual orientation is. If you want to go out and protest Trump and say he's a piece of crap, go do it on your own time. You're at these events to compete. And that's something that people got to stop fighting with in the FGC, pushing this narrative as if the FGC isn't accepting of anybody's lifestyle. And that's the thing. People are having less fun. Streams are hurting it. Streams have been that hurt it. Listen, everybody can say what they want. If a person goes to an event and has a good time, that's great. If I had $1 for everybody that went to an event and said they had a miserable time, I wouldn't be talking to these right now. I can guarantee you that. I've had people complain about every event under the sun to me. And at the end, I just tell TOs, try to do the best you can and make the events as fun as you can. But, we're in this crossroad now of esports is not fun. FGC grassroots was fun. Now we got to be serious. Now we got to be on our A game. I see two teams that have perked my ears lately. One of them is this Equinox team, which is like a new young team that I see, and they got the Tekken guy Dimeback. They just picked up another person. Uh, they look like a legit team. I think they're the first team outside of Echo Fox that, to me, showcases themselves as a team versus just a bunch of schleps that threw on some jerseys and call themselves a team. They all look like Barbie and Ken dolls. They're all pretty boys except for Dimeback. He's the big one. He's the big burly comedian. They got nice looking jerseys. They I noticed watching them at Summer Jam. They walk around as a team, as a unit. Not as 10 players that play for the team, but they stick around each other the whole time. I thought that was really cool. I think it's a great team so far, and they're producing results. All right, now UYU. Okay. UYU, the girl, Jinhee, who started the team, is a smart fucking woman. I did a lot of research on her. I read up a lot about her. Yeah, they're not really sponsors. They're more. I think she's selling her brand, which is the UYU. I know it was funny because the first time I had any interaction with her, I think yesterday or the day before, and she was up there with Ralph Lauren Polo as a clothing designer, and I say up there like one of her top guys in, I believe, the 80s. You know what? They see she seems really good. I did my R&D on her after. I ain't gonna lie. So if she's listening, I read about you. She's a smart cookie. She's had a lot of successful, legitimate businesses, and now she's ventured into the world of esports. And I think it's a combination of clothing line, trying to promote esports at the same time. But she knows she's not stupid. Is what my point is. She's not one of these people that I believe is going to get duped by somebody in the FGC. She ain't going to buy somebody's line of bullshit. She looks like she's been around, the business world successfully for quite some time. So, I see her building a stream team, and she's got a team of players. And her players, she got JCDR, not JCDR, what's his name? J Dong, yeah. A clothing line. Imagine Mon and Justin on the catwalk. What's up there, Sanford Nina tweets? What's up, Shoni? Yeah, it's basically a Tekken team. But she seems really genuine about her want to be a part of the FGC. That part I definitely like about her. Oh, wait. What's FGC diverse? What does that mean, Socorro? Explain that to me. And while you do that, I want to look something up quick. Let me see if this still stands true. Let's see. So, all right. Let me see some images. Where are we? Oh wait, look at that. 2. Okay, cool. So it's not as true as it used to be. You know what? It don't matter what the games are drawing. As far as participants, the viewership sucks. There's no capitalizing on money. Uh, Now again, I want an OBS hoodie. I haven't had. I got a. Work has been killing me. When I get a break, I'm planning on putting shit together. But again, guys, it's like I see people saying like, "Oh, the FGC's been growing." It hasn't been. And the numbers are the same. Now, while another like an event like CEO Taku, it made some money. But the FGC is more than just Tekken and Street Fighter Five. I feel, yeah, it is more than that those games. But unfortunately, the way the FGC is it's very biased to A, Capcom games, and B, when Capcom fails, Namco's next. And the fact that Namco Bandai has got Soul Calibur 6 coming out, it's got Tekken 7 Season 2 coming out on the pass, it's got the Dragon Ball Z. They kind of got the market locked up right now. Oh yeah, look at what they did. Listen, when Marvel Infinite came out, everybody was gonna body the world. In the NRS community, I remember during MK9, and all the good MK9 guys said, "Oh, all you Injustice people, when I get my hands on the game, I'm gonna body you." None of them actually come through, and then they bash the game. They find something wrong with it. I mean, granted, Capcom sucks. And I'm sorry if you're a Capcom fan, but they closed down the Vancouver studio. They're going to diverse themselves back to Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if all the American offices closed eventually. And they're going to try and rebrand what was destroyed. But again, you're just rehashing the old shit. Street Fighter 6. I mean, you can already see they're putting out a lot more patches and costumes and all that other stuff. Now that Ono is knocked to the side, you're going to see a lot of games do that. Look at a game like KI. I mean, alright. As far as the other games, I can't really speak. But, as far as KI, I know KI fucked themselves in a way. And the reason they kind of fucked themselves is the powers that be got picky and choosy on who they favored in the tournament scene as far as TOs, and they had the KI Cup, and they didn't include Big E, they didn't include Larry, A couple of other guys they didn't include. Very selective of who they chose. Yeah, well, I mean, 2020 is a far ass way away. You know, it's. I doubt it. I think within 2 years you're going to get something new before that. I think. Um, yeah, I listen. I like KI. I think KI is a good game. I just, I'm biased due to to Mr. Keats, so I can't really. I'm not allowed to like the game. Um, no, I mean I got it on PC. I enjoy it. Um, I don't have an Xbox One. I never wasted my money on that. Oh yeah, absolutely, Sanford. Uh, they can't sell out an arena. They can't sell out MSG. There's no way. I mean, we do we do the arena shit at Evo to give ourselves a pat on the back, just to feel like we're big time, but we're not. We're in that Monday Night Raw shot on a Wednesday in some random town of Ohio where they're like, all right, everybody, we know you bought the nosebleed seats, but we want to film this for TV so everybody gets to move up front so we can make it look like the arena's full. That's what we do. Uh, More than half was empty. Like I said, they let everybody move up, and but the fact is that the FGC is hurting right now. And I I've given my opinion. I say uh, people definitely need to wake up. People got to remember, stop following your false gods around. As you see from someone like Infiltration, how quickly they can fall. And as I said, as quickly as he could fall, again, I say, I understand, I hope the girl's okay, um, and everything works out with her. But on the flip side, for the people that have claimed over the years that they were friends with this kid, try to be a friend to him. Don't be that guy that the minute somebody's cast out, you turn your back on them. Because as a friend, I don't know what kind of upbringing you had. A friend is there for when somebody needs you the most. And now at this time, it sounds like, just from what I'm seeing and reading on the Reddits and the translations, Infiltration needs somebody to be his friend. I could reach out to him and go, hey, buddy, but at this point, he hasn't been on Twitter. He's MIA. I'm sure Panda Global told him, like, you got to lay low. You know. I think Capcom Pro Tour is done after this year. And that would be a good idea. That'd be a good idea if TOs and IP owners could give exclusive content. It don't matter how long they're contracted by him. If it's bleeding, Sony will cut it. If it's bleeding, Sony's gonna look at it and they're gonna look at the sales of stuff, and depending on like the Darkstalker shit and the new costumes and the DLC, if they didn't meet their expectation, that contract will be broken. I don't even know what you're gonna do, Baroque Goldstein, so I'm not even gonna fucking do that. And again, I reiterate this. All the social justice people who like to go out there and debate me when I'm not even trying to debate you. I'm not condoning what Infiltration has done. I have to reiterate that because there's people in their little Discord saying Jabe says he shouldn't be banned. I didn't say he should never be banned. I said he should be dropped from his team. He should be kicked from the Capcom Pro Tour and have a suspension from events overall, but not be cast out forever. Yeah. Yeah, it was done in Korea. It has no legal implications here. Yes, it does over there. Over there it does. He could get arrested. Again, this is where the FGC as a whole, and this will go in one ear and out the other ear on tons of people who just say the old man is screaming, needs to build guidelines. Guidelines that everybody agrees on, which means you would have to put a union together at the same time and allow the players to see it, sign it, acknowledge it, that they've read it, and abide by it. Now, after that, when you could just say, fuck it, I'll sign it, without reading it. With that said, now you're locked into a contract with the FGC to behave a certain way. I don't think he's going to do Capcom Cup. I think he's going to drop out. I wouldn't, though, if I was him, because he probably needs money for a lawyer. I mean, I hate to say that, but I don't know how much lawyers are there, but so like I said, who knows what's going to happen with him. No, I think Panda's going to drop him. I think Panda Global's going to drop him right after, probably right before Capcom Pro Tour, before the finals. I mean, I'm sure they're in contact with him. I would cut him now, too, to be honest. I think there's enough info out there that you could kind of... Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. If I was Panda, I would, do what I can to nip this in the butt while you can. Their statement's going to be simple, due to the circumstances, yada, yada, yada. Either he's locked into a contract and they got to keep him, or they'll break the contract. Now, for people out there that would go on and say, hey, Panda, you just fucked up, you piece of shit, you didn't get rid of him. Contract's a contract. And money is money at the end of the day. I don't know what kind of contract Infiltration got with him, but if it's enough money involved and they say, hey, listen, we're going to let the contract play out, but he's banned from events, in my eyes, that's good enough. Because it ain't going to help them. It ain't going to help them in any way. All right, Chris. It ain't going to help them in any way. But, I don't know, man. At this point, I feel bad for him. Again, that don't mean I don't feel bad for her, because I can feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for fucking baby ducks stuck in fucking oil in the middle of the ocean. I mean, I feel bad for shit. But I don't know her. She seems like she's okay now, which is fine. I'm glad to see that. At least, it looks that way. If she's not okay, she can come stay with me. I'll take care of her. But it's I don't know. Panda Globe was ran by a doctor. Yeah, correct. They're pretty big. Yeah, she's thick Asian. She can get it. I mean, I don't know, dude. I've never fucking punched a girl like that or choked a girl, so I really can't sympathize with him for what he did. But like I said earlier, because most of you FGC people are weak anyway, um, and I'm talking mentally, that the pressure that he's probably had on to perform like the circus monkey that they want him to be, and the fact that he let himself down, let his team down at Evo was probably enough to set him off. Mariano, I understand that, but never choked a girl. You're missing out. Yeah, I got stabs, but that's again, I'm not normal anyway, so I've been stabbed and didn't hit her. I've been told I'm fucking pregnant by somebody else and didn't fucking hit her. So for me, after things like that, no, consensual choking is not okay, you sick fuck. Keep saying that's how you get banned from events. That's not. There's no such thing as consensual. You duped her into allowing you to choke her. Exactly. Report that to a sponsor. During sex, yes, no choking during sex. And then you know what? I'm sorry, John, but they wouldn't be getting sex from me, or they wouldn't be getting choked. I mean, I'll put it in their ass. I'll eat their ass, but I'm not choking them. I'll eat the corn out their shit. I'm not choking them. Exactly. I don't know what kind of fucking girls figure four leg locks during sex. I choked the chicken, exactly. You know what, John? Maybe the only part of your equation that you're saying right now that is consistent is you. So maybe you hear them say, yeah, they're into choking, but for some reason I have a feeling you ask and you hear what you want to hear. Fish hooking's allowed. What's wrong with a little BDSM? A lot, dude. You need a shrink. I mean, a fucking hot dog dressed up in leather ain't gonna cut it. I'm sorry, man. But again, listen, I don't get. I joke around, but whatever you into, you're into. Um, like I said, ain't nobody in the FGC giving me a reason worse than the things I've gone through with women that would deem choking a girl out. And like Albino said, I've been stabbed. I didn't hit her. Dumped by my wife of 10 years. Didn't hit her. So, the fact that this motherfucker lost a couple of games in Street Fighter, not a good excuse. I didn't choke Farina, dude. She asked me to choke myself, and she'd watch. Oh, God, you fucking guys. Oh, yeah. This by Ski Sonic didn't hit him. I couldn't hit that girl. Yeah, That's the way I am. Like, honestly, Chris, like, girl be like, yeah, I fucked like 12 of your friends. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I fucked 4 of yours, so we're even. Um, I just can't find a woman getting me to the point where hitting is actually worth it. I got my wife beater here. When a chick gets me wound up, I just give her one of these. I give it a signature OBS. That's an official OBS kendo stick. Oh, of course. And only 2 players have these. Majin in the Tekken community and Mr. Chris G. You know, but and I got plenty more. I got bigger ones. These ones are better. This one's the official one. This one's actually official. I gave you the junior one, Chris. This is the junior one, and this is the big one. Oh yeah, this will definitely hurt the shit out of you. These are my Sandman sticks. So, you know, when it comes to sex and me, it's all about the kendo stick. I plan on putting it to good use. No, you get the little one, Chris. But, no, guys, like I said, it's never a reason to hit a girl. That's a given, you know. But the fact that it happened, and it's a combination of his reputation in the FGC and his private life, and the fact that he's going to court and doing all this other shit. Let nature take its course on him. He probably is going to have to leave the FGC anyway. I don't know if he's going to wind up getting jail time for it, or she's going to sue the shit out of him. Apparently, she kind of had her shit together because she paid off her apartment or something. You know, so, you know, again, it's like, I'm not saying let it slide. No, and that's correct. If he does wind up with a felony, who knows? You know, John, you know, I've spoken to people that told me that in Korea that said he can get jail time, that it's not likely. But then, you know, again, Korea laws kind of are fucked up. It won't even let you in Canada if you have a speeding ticket. Domestic abuse is one of those things in Korea where it's kind of It's like that here too. It's like that here too until it becomes a woe. And that's what I'm saying. If it's a few months, by then he comes out. And apparently, if she's got this shit recorded, that gives her a pretty tight sealed case. He could move to Saudi Arabia. That way he could smack a bitch up for months. No big deal. All right, Mariano, take it easy. But again, guys, things that you people need to think about. And when I say you people, I mean you people. Think about pushing toward your TOs about a defined set of rules. Not your rule book, which is a bunch of social justice warriors screaming bloody murder until they kick somebody out of the FGC. Seriously contemplate and forward to these guys. I don't know. I don't want to tell you go flood like Alex Vi, but you all talk to your TOs. Talk to your TOs. Mention, hey, Jimmy was saying maybe we should come up with some set of rules, a guideline. Because let's be real, TOs don't get along. But to create a rule book, they don't have to. Oh, I mean, if audio's inadmissible, then she's kind of fucked. Yeah, TOs are competing against each other. But if the players speak up, again, TOs are beholden to the players. TO's business is based on players showing up to their events. Oh, yeah, of course they're going to say, don't listen to James MK. He's a piece of shit. He don't know what he's doing. But I'll tell you this right now. If every player unified with one message, we're not coming to your event unless there's a set of guidelines, then I guarantee you these TOs will turn around and have to start working together instead of against each other. Guarantee you. And that's the beauty of being unionized. Everybody speaks with one voice. And people will listen. Especially TOs that are doing this for a main business. They have no choice. 3,000 people show up and only 100 are coming. That's a bust for them. That's where you guys hold the cards. So, again, it's up to you guys. You don't have to listen to me. I go back, I play my Tekken. I'm going to go play some Tekken in a little bit for like an hour. But, guys, I hate to do this, but I'm wrapping this shindig up. That'll take every top player, including Chris G here in the chat, to put all their feet down. Exactly. And Mark, you know what? I think Alex would. But the problem with Alex is Alex gets very knee-jerk reactionary. And, this is not something, this isn't just about him and his event. This is about the players, all the TOs, all the events. I knew you 92, but, it's about all the events. And that's one of the things that you got to stress to the TOs. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about nobody's ego. It's about making a set of rules so something like this never happens again, hopefully. No, see, that's the catch, Orochi. This has to be, the rules need to be built by the TOs. Then the players, and again, this is where the work part of it comes in. Then the players need to have some association, /union, that will look at it, get it to all the players, have you read it, sign it, send it back. Now, if the union sends out 200 copies of the rules and only 150 send them back, the 150 win. If 50 go back, listen to the TOs. The union says, the players aren't buying it. This and this and this. Well, that's the thing. Before you get into the union being a fully functional union, first you got to get people to agree to join. And that's it. Don't even have to be its own union. Like I was saying earlier to somebody, you could be in the Teamster union. The Teamsters will take all gamers and put you under an umbrella because it's just more people to join their union. So, I mean, again, it's stuff to talk about. Again, I tell everybody the same thing. Everybody should know I would never do that. I never do this. Fucking infiltration. You don't know what you're capable of doing, guys. So, anyway, guys, I got to bounce. I'm going to go play some Tekken for a little bit, and then I'm going to bed. I'll have this uploaded later tonight, and take it easy.